All right, so I'm going to show you this video. It's going to be insane. All right.
We're on live?
Yep, we are on.
Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
So, Hushim wants to show me some video and get my reaction out of it.
I want to get Jeff's reaction on this video just because this is our video of the day that we posted up on our social media channels. Jeff hasn't had a chance to see this yet, so
No, I have not.
I wanted to get his reaction. Let's see over here, Jeff. Let's pull this up.
An oppressor of our civil rights and our God-given rights and our constitutional rights, and could care less about anybody except his donors, the liberal extremist donors he has up there who want I guess they want to turn all of Washington into, what do they call Seattle downtown? They called it CHOP or something like that. They want the whole state to be like that. What's your take on it all?
Yeah, guys, comment what your thoughts are. We're reading them live, so and we'll feature any of the comments that come through over here. But yeah,
I have an example. I mean, just to show you politically my vision or what my opinion. Everything here is my opinion that I say, but this would be a normal American brain, and it seems like it would be a good size, and this would be the liberal brain after it's atrophied and shriveled into a useless pile of mush that all they can think about is taking away other people's rights and ruining their lives.
This is a great way to demonstrate that.
It's a good analogy?
Yeah, it's a great analogy.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. So, are there any uh, pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment, I should say, lobby groups that are fighting this right now? Do we know of any
So
from here?
industry wise, it would be NSSF, which they're fairly staunch and they put their money where their mouth is when it comes to protecting the industry. They're also the ones that happen to host the SHOT Show. Maybe they're not perfect, but they certainly do a lot and advocate for rights in general, especially in the sporting woods or in the
Do
sporting.
they have anything on their website that we could look at to see if like what efforts they're doing?
Legislative Action Center right there. So this would be the side
Take
where they're going.
everybody there. Give me 1 second, Jeff, just so everyone.
There's a of the public that puts them into their position.
So I think that this ultimately breaks down to a cultural thing. People that genuinely want to fix or deal with the issue properly when it comes to things like school shootings, and they want to eliminate those kind of um, uh, tragedies that are happening. I think it's a cultural thing. Banning weapons and making them less accessible to law-abiding citizens is not going to help with those problems. It's a cultural issue that we have, plain and simple, no matter how you want to look at it. And this whole notion of glorifying guns in Hollywood and that's making us more violent and playing video games like Call of Duty, it's making us more violent, I think is just totally wrong. I think it's 100% culture. Look, we have in places like Israel that I visited many times. They give every teenage boy a machine gun, and you don't see mass shootings going on over there. It has everything to do with culture over there. The people there, mostly are going to be Israelis, are mostly going to be Jewish, but there's many Arabs, there's many Druze and Christians and Muslims that live there. You don't see people just shooting up places over there. It just doesn't happen. And they have the very, I would say, if you're looking for military style assault weapons and stuff like that, every teenage boy there has one. Every teenage girl has one too. When they join the military and they have a mandatory draft. So
Well,
I use that as an example,
Mm-hmm.
and then places like Switzerland that famously have many people in the armed forces as well. Similar to Israel, you got places like South Korea. You don't see that kind of situation like they have over here, and I blame our society and our culture more than anything. I don't think it's anything more than that,
Well, let me ask you a question.
or it's
What
not much more than that.
I think that you're definitely going down the right avenue there, and you've hit several points that really are critical to the situation. Things we have in common and things we don't have in common with some of these other countries. But what is the media? And when I say media, I don't mean only major networks, but also the new media of the social media and the powers that be that control it, because there absolutely
Well,
are.
that's one of the
What
problems. Yeah.
what are they fomenting? What are they making here? And why is it that our youth, and let me just set the record straight on opinion on youth. Our children are as precious a resource as anything in this world and should be protected as such.
Yeah.
But what does the media and the social media monsters have in common here is when you look at a kid who's growing up on the phone on certain channels that are available, social media channels, and they're being bullied, they're being tormented, they're taking part in it perhaps, but what you're getting is division. We've talked about this already, that the political sides want division and anger amongst the populace because you know what? If we focus on hating one another, then we're not focused on the true guilty parties who are taking advantage of us and using us just as a source of income and to foment power and abuse. And in the case of the kids, you see these horrible situations of online bullying, violence, and I'm not talking about video games, but violence being perpetrated and childhood suicide and all these tragedies. Well, these companies are allowing all this hate to foment and grow and boil over in our society. And I have to think that some of this must be contributing to this. Also, the latchkey kid. We used to call them latchkey kids. Kids who take care of themselves half the time. The parents are away, whatever. But you get these kids who are just growing up on their own, and their ideas and their culture and their thoughts are being affected by other people who really don't care anything for them. These are outside people, whether it's at their school or just students or other people who are in charge of taking care of them who really don't care as much. And we're allowing kids to grow up as monsters, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And so when we get a child who goes out and has these kind of anger issues and hatred and problems, and they need love and care, quite often they're getting nothing but scorn and they're becoming monsters. And the solution is certainly not disarming the public to try to stop these isolated incidents from happening. There's got to be a solution, but honestly, surrounding people with love and care and good experiences and stopping their ability to create this hatred and these, bizarre ideas that they get online, maybe it would help us out. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert at it. But certainly, taking away my rights isn't going to stop something from happening. And taking away all of Washington's rights at the swipe of a pen is certainly not going to save anyone's life. It's going to cost lives. Sorry for the rant.
I'm glad you got it out, but yeah, again, it comes down to cultural. At the end of the day, what you were saying is a little bit more specific, but it's all about our society and our culture. I don't think it has to do with the gun laws at all. But moving on, I have just because we could talk about this forever.
I know where they are.
But what
Anyway,
if someone breaks in your house, takes it, or it gets seized or something like
oh,
that?
so okay, so I go chase them down. Is that
No,
going to
but
happen?
you know where it is. It's just it's a cool thing. Well, for the AirTag specifically, I'm not talking about any other company,
So
but
what?
the
I
way the
can't smash
AirTags,
that piece of plastic and disable it, or
I mean, you can, but it's just one. It's hidden, so people won't.
everyone's entitled to an opinion.
Yes,
Okay.
everyone's entitled to an opinion over here.
Know where
So
your
just
guns are. Know where your children are.
yes, know where your guns are, know where your children are, and you don't need AirTags. But I feel like it's just a cool concept. So let's just get to our webinars over here.
It's bad enough that manufacturers are putting QR codes on guns already, and then, so
What
whatever.
what's the difference between a QR code and a serial number? Can you explain that?
Yeah, you can't scan a serial number with a simple smart device and tell
But
everything
if you have
about it.
enough resolution on a if you have enough resolution on like a picture or something like that, you could scan you could scan the barcode. You should be able to see the number of a serial number.
I'm I am against barcodes and QR codes on firearms entirely. A serial number is information that's stored with the manufacturer, and from the manufacturer, in the end, if they want to do a trace or so forth, they can. They can go through the ATF and follow the lineage where the gun's been sold and what it's been done in theory. A QR code is an instantaneous electronic access to all the data in the manufacturing of the firearm, and I'm against it. That's all.
Fair enough. All right. Thank you. Have a good night. Thank you for the demonstration over
Analogy.
here, the analogies. Yes. Have a good night.
Good night.